Hi everybody, this is Angela coming with our sixth free yoga video, which will be continuing the chakra series that I started a while back ago. It's taken a long time to get through it, but I think I'm getting some momentum going, and I'm very excited because the further up we go, the just more excited I tend to get about the possibilities of what can happen when we have our energy flowing freely. So every class just gets a little bit better. In today's class, we'll be focusing on the Ajna chakra, or the third eye chakra, which I think is my favorite. And if I've already said that about a chakra, that's not surprising to me. But this one is really cool because it is the space where we hold our intuition and our ability to almost magically sense things. At least that's how I see it. It can't really be explained. It's when you get a feeling and you just know it's true, and then hopefully oftentimes you find out later on that it was in fact true. And the more you become in tune with how that feels and that sensation of truth, the more you can learn to trust it in the moment so that you can act on it when it's right. But it's very subtle and it's confusing sometimes. And I cannot promise you after this class you're going to have all of its mysteries unlocked. But if intuition is something you're wanting to develop further, hopefully it will help. I have found in my personal life that the third eye and my solar plexus chakra are often very closely related. It's the reason why we say trusting your gut, and your gut's where the solar plexus is located. The solar plexus has to do with our sense of trusting ourselves and our sense of personal strength. If you don't believe that you have personal strength and power, you will not trust your intuition. So if you have not already, if you haven't done all of the classes leading up to this, I definitely recommend going back and doing class number 3, the solar plexus chakra. That will help you be better prepared for what it is we are about to do, set you up for your best chance of success. Otherwise, to let you know what we will be up to today, or tonight, it's tonight as I'm filming this. This class is going to be kind of a combination of yin and yang. So slower postures, somewhere we're stretching, somewhere we're doing more focusing on the breath of meditation. At the end, we'll do some breath work to activate the third eye. We'll also do some slow flowing, and we'll also be focusing on some postures where we will be doing balancing. Balancing requires a lot of focus visually. And I'll cue you to find something to focus on, like to set your eyes on, that is not moving. So when we activate a focused gaze, we activate the third eye. I mean, we're activating the first 2 eyes, so it kind of helps activate that third. And so we'll be doing some of that as well. So it will be, at points, it'll be a challenging practice at all points. Sometimes physically, sometimes more because we're staying in stillness and breathing. But I hope you will get good things out of it. So that is all I have for you, except to let you know, again, this is the 6th chakra. So it's like between the eyebrows and a little bit above. It's one of the places we tend to rub when we have a forehead. Excuse me. It's one of the places we tend to rub when we have a headache in our foreheads. And it's a place that I often find myself massaging. And it has become almost a relaxation response on my part to rub my third eye when I'm feeling stressed. And I found that very helpful. It's associated with a dark blue color, indigo, somewhere between violet and the light blue of the throat chakra. And I also find it interesting to think about, as we move to the last chakra next week, or later this week, the crown, how that's the center of our sense of like a higher purpose. And then the throat is where our communication occurs, and the progression, I think, is very cool, that it slowly draws more and more into a deeper sense of self. Like the throat is deeply connected to our ability to communicate and to move in the world, and then we move to the third eye where it is more intimately connected with our sense of what we can intuit and what does our power manifest as, and then we move up to the crown where it's what exists inside of us that is connected with something far deeper than ourselves. So it's like we pull in, pull in, pull in, and then at the very end we explode into an insane amount of expansiveness. It's very easy to geek out over. Hopefully you'll catch on to a little bit of that excitement. All right, that actually is all I have for you. So grab a couple of blocks for this practice and a blanket or a pillow, something to sit on. When we come to the end, we'll be doing some work seated. And then come to a child's pose to get started. Child's pose, bring your big toes together, bring your knees wide, or you don't have to bring your knees wide, you can also keep your knees together and shift your hips back to your heels. Drop your belly down, stretch your spine and crown of your head forward, reach your hands forward. That feels okay for you, keeping them about shoulders width, but you can also bring them wider. What I would encourage you to do in this child's pose is, if your forehead doesn't rest against the earth, bring a block underneath it. So we're going to try to ground the forehead against something to create a sense of stability to that space that we were just talking about above and between the eyebrows. So remember, in our first class, we focused on groundedness, and a lot of times it was in the hips or in the feet. Imagine that sense of groundedness coming against your third eye. Firm foundation and rootedness. And then begin to rock your head from side to side. Trying to embrace every subtle sensation as you slowly rock. So if you have a headache, and sometimes doing this motion can help relieve that tension. You can keep the motion going, or you can start to come back to stillness if you're ready. We're going to stay here in child's pose for a few more inhales and exhales. So feel your breath flow in and out. Imagine deep blue color gathering behind your eyelids. You may actually be able to see it. Sometimes that is the color that we see when we close our eyes. And as you breathe, focus on the sensation of the breath in your belly. That might be an opportunity to feel the connection between your solar plexus chakra. Imagine the breath comes from the belly and up into the third eye. And the exhales come from the third eye down into the belly. And take a few more breaths like that. And slowly begin to reawaken the body by shifting the hips from side to side, the shoulders as well. You want to rock your head from side to side a few more times you can. Begin to come to stillness. And pressing into your hands and knees, lift your way up to tabletop position. And find a flat back as you draw your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. We'll go through a few rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, stretch your belly down, lift your hips and chest and face up. For cow pose, exhale, round your spine to the sky and tuck your chin and pelvis in for cat pose. Inhale, stretch down for cow. And exhale, round up for cat. A couple more times with your own breath. You can also do some hip circles instead, or shift your hips from side to side, take some side stretches, whatever you'd like. And slowly come back to your tabletop position. Extend your right foot behind you and float your toes away from the mat, dropping your right hip in line with the left. Then reach your left fingertips forward. Stretch your toes and fingertips away from each other as you inhale. As you exhale, draw your elbow and knee together underneath you and round your spine up towards the sky. Inhale, stretch hand and foot away. Exhale, round your spine, arch your back, draw in. Inhale, extend. One more time. Exhale, round, draw in. Inhale, extend. Pause here. Set your gaze down straight to your mat. Breathe here. And release. Come back to tabletop position. Shift your hips from side to side. And extend your left foot behind you. Float your toes away from your mat. Again, left hip drops in line with the right. Then reach your right hand forward. And take an inhale here. Exhale, draw elbow and knee together, round your spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. As you inhale, extend your hand and foot away from each other. Set your gaze straight down to the mat. Breathe here. And drop your hand and knee. Come back to tabletop. Shift your hips from side to side. From your tabletop position, begin to tuck your toes. Press into your hands and feet. Lift your hips up to the mat. Shift your heels back towards the mat to find a downward facing dog. Hands and feet about shoulders and hips width or a little wider. And bend one knee and then the other slowly. And try to focus in every pose as much as possible on where the gaze should be. So take a few more rounds of bending and alternating knees. And then slowly come back to center. Then set your gaze either between your feet or between your knees, whichever feels more comfortable. Gaze off the tip of your nose. Find your focus. And then find your breath. As you inhale, come forward to a plank pose. You can drop to your knees for support or keep your knees lifted. Try to have a straight line from the crown of your head to either your knees if they're on the mat or your feet if your knees are lifted. Take an inhale here. And exhale, drop to your knees and lower all the way to your belly. Untuck your toes. Plant your hands by your low ribs. Then as you inhale, press into your hands. Float your chest up for baby cobra pose. Gaze down to your mat. Breathe here. A couple inhales and exhales. One more inhale here. And exhale, lower back down to the mat. Drop your forehead down. Feel your third eye ground against the floor. And from that space, as you inhale, lift your chest for baby cobra, or lift it higher for a higher cobra if you'd like, keeping a bend in your elbows. Inhale here. Exhale, shift to hands and knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. As you inhale, shift forward to plank pose one more time. Knees up or down. Then as you exhale, lower to the earth. As you lower, you can have your knees up or down. Inhale, lift your chest to cobra pose, or hands and feet only on the mat for an upward facing dog. And as you exhale, make your way to down dog. You can come through the knees or roll over the feet and lift your hips high. One more time, inhale, come forward to your plank pose. Exhale, lower, knees up or down. Inhale, chest lifts for cobra pose or upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Once you come to your down dog, nod your head yes slowly. And shake your head no slowly. And come back to stillness. As you inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, and walk your feet to the front of your mat. We'll find a forward fold here. Separate your feet to a little bit wider than hips width. Bend your knees as much as you'd like, and then grab opposite elbows and start to sway from side to side for a ragdoll. Release your hands down to the earth. Bring your feet underneath your hips. And as you inhale, bring your hands to your shins or thighs and lengthen the crown of your head forward. Gaze straight down to the earth. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, and fold. Once again, inhale, half lift. Exhale, and fold. This time as you inhale, pressing through your feet, keeping your spine long, come up to standing, reaching your fingertips to the sky. Press your palms together above your head, maybe look up at your hands. And as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And we'll find mountain pose with hands at heart. Root through your feet. Activate the muscles in your legs. Lengthen your spine. Relax your shoulders, and feel free to keep your eyes open and begin to set your gaze on something that feels like a natural space for your eyes to rest. And keep that space in mind later when we come to some balancing poses. It may be a good place to look at. As you inhale, reach your hands back up to the sky, lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, fold forward at the long spine. Inhale, find a half lift again. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Take an inhale in your plank, knees up or down. And as you exhale, you can move through your flow, or you can make your way straight back to down dog. So we'll meet up there. We'll have a couple opportunities to go through that flow, which we call vinyasas, where you lower down, come to up dog or cobra, and then come to down dog. There won't be a whole lot of them. If you'd like a little bit more of a physically challenging practice, you can always feel free to take one. We're meeting up in down dog. And from your down dog, step your right foot between your hands and drop your back knee down. Finding low lunge. Feel free to pad up underneath your left knee for support if you need to. Bring your right foot directly underneath your right knee. You want the knee to go no further than over your front ankle. And as you inhale, press through your foot and your back knee. Reach your hands to the sky and steeple your fingers. So your pointer fingers point up to the sky, other fingers are interlaced. Then if you are feeling it, you can begin to look up at your hands. Maybe start to find a little bit of a back bend opening your heart. Breathe here. One more inhale here. As you exhale, plant your hands to the earth. Tuck your back toes. Step back to plank pose. Knees up or down. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, make your way to your downward facing dog, taking a flow or vinyasa if you'd like. Or you can skip it and come straight back to down dog. Once you find down dog, take a few breaths there. Begin to step your left foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down. Again, you can pad under your right knee. Left knee and ankle are in line. And as you are ready, press through your left foot and back knee. Reach your hands to the sky. Steeple your fingers. If you can think about it, try to bring the opposite interlace, so it's a little bit more awkward. If you're not quite sure what that feels like, don't worry about it. Then, if and when you're ready, start to look up at your hands, maybe opening across your collarbones, create some space for the breath. A couple more breaths here. One more inhale. As you exhale, plant your hands, tuck your back toes, and step back to plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, come to down dog through vinyasa or not. We'll meet up in downward facing dog. Inhale, float your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, long spine. And exhale, fold. As you inhale, begin to bend your knees, sink your hips low. Bring hands to heart, or bring arms in line with your ears for a chair pose. The hips are low. Weight into the pads of your feet. Should be able to wiggle your toes. And then set your gaze either straight in front of you or up if that feels okay for your neck. Long spine, a couple more breaths here. Inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. Hands down to the earth. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, make your way to down dog. Through vinyasa or come straight there. From your down dog, step your right foot between your hands. Feel free to drop your back knee down, or for a little bit more physical challenge, you can keep your back knee lifted. We'll do the same thing we did before. Reach your hands to the sky and steeple your fingers. If you are keeping your back knee lifted, rotate your inner legs in towards each other. And a little straightness in your back knee. And again, front knee is no further than over your front ankle. A couple more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Plant your hands. Step back to plank pose. Inhale here. And as you exhale, make your way to down dog, however you would like to get there. We'll meet up at our down dog and take a few breaths in and out. And from your down dog, step your left foot between your hands. Again, back knee can drop down. Or keep your back knee lifted. Inhale. Reach your hands up to the sky. Think about it. Take the awkward interlace if possible. And bend deeply into your left knee. If you're feeling it, you can look up at your hands. Maybe find a back bend. One more inhale here. Exhale. Frame your front foot with your hands. Step back to your plank pose. Inhale. Exhale. Make your way to your downward facing dog. So this is already shaping up to be a little more challenging of a practice than we usually do. So remember, you can always come back to child's pose for a rest. You can hang out in down dog for a while as well, if that feels good. And since it's a video, you can always pause it and come back. All right. If you are ready to move on, as you inhale, float your right heel up to the sky. Keep your heel up and your toes pointing down and right hip in line with the left. Next, exhale. Plant your foot between your hands and spin your back heel flat. Edge of your back foot parallel with the back of the mat. Cartwheel your arms up and open to find a warrior two. Bend into your right knee. Track it over your right toes. Send some weight into the back edge of your back foot. And really pay attention to your gaze here. It should be over your front fingertips. And try to keep focus right there. Specifically, set a point of focus over your front middle finger, just the longest finger on the hand. And imagine a straight line of energy from your right fingertips to your left. Keep the arms straight and engaged, the shoulders relaxed. And begin to straighten your front knee. As you inhale, reach your right hand out over your leg. As you exhale, drop your hand down. Reach your left hand to the sky for triangle pose. Again, straight line of energy from both hands. Maybe look up at your left hand. And a gentle rotation of your left hip back. And left shoulder directly over the right. And inhale here. As you exhale, gaze down at your front foot and frame it with your hands. Step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale there. And as you exhale, make your way to your down dog. Again, however you would like to get there, and we'll meet up there. Invite a few deep inhales and deep exhales. From your down dog, inhale, float your left heel to the sky for three-legged dog. Heel points up, toes point down, right heel sinks towards the earth. On your next exhale, step your foot between your hands and spin your back heel flat. Cartwheel your arms up and open for warrior two. Strong bend into the left knee, track it over your left toes. And set your gaze over your front fingertips, specifically set a point of focus over your front middle finger. And straighten your left knee. Take an inhale. And exhale, reach your left hand out over your leg and drop it down for triangle pose. Straight arms, maybe looking up at your right hand. Lengthen the crown of your head to the front. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, turn to look at your front foot, frame it with your hands, step back to your plank pose, inhale, and exhale, make your way to your downward facing dog. We'll meet up there. Take a couple breaths in and a couple breaths out in your down dog. As you inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, hands to your shins. And exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, press through your feet, rise slowly up to standing. Reach your hands to the sky. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Find that place that you set your gaze on before. And if you did not find one now. Someplace not moving, someplace that you can stay focused on. And begin to bring your balance into your right foot. Lifting your left foot off the mat and bringing it to your ankle or up to your shin. Starting to find a tree pose. And if you'd like even more depth, you can reach down, grab your foot and press it against your right leg. Just avoid your knee. If you feel steady and you'd like to go for it, you can reach your hands to the sky. And keep your focused gaze. If you'd really like to challenge with the gaze, you could try looking up at your hands. If you wobble, it's okay. If you topple, do it gently. A few more breaths here. And slowly bring your knees, point back to center, bring hands to heart center, and step to the front of your mat, shake out your legs. Most excellent. Opposite side. Again, set your gaze. Begin to bring your balance to your left foot. Pick up your right foot. Bring it to your ankle or your shin. Point your knee to the side. If you want more depth, bring your foot inside your left thigh if you're feeling it. Maybe lift your hands to the sky if and when you are ready. Press tension between your right foot and your left leg. They are rising to meet each other. And then if you want to challenge your focused gaze even more, feel free to look up at your hands, even if just for a moment. Point your knee forward. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring your foot to rest by the left. Come back to your standing mountain pose with hands at heart. Keep your focused gaze. We're going to do one more balance challenge. This one we will be changing where the gaze lands. So wherever your gaze goes, let that be the focused point. And it will present a challenge, but resolve to stay with your focus. Keep your hands at heart center. Once again, focus balance into your right foot. Float your left foot off the mat. This time, keep the crown of your head and your left foot in line. Begin to tilt forward. I'm going to find a warrior three. Now you notice your gaze starts to go down towards the floor. And allow it to. And just keep it strong. Keep your left hip dropping in line with the right. If you want more intensity, you can reach your fingertips forward, maybe interlacing your fingers, steepling them. And slowly make your way back to center. Come back to your standing mountain pose. Set your gaze back to its original point. Find your breath. And last time on the left side. Begin to send your balance into your left foot. Pick up your right foot. Keep the crown of your head and your right foot in line. Begin to tilt forward. You don't have to tilt to where you're horizontal, parallel with your mat. You can just tilt a little bit. Keep that straight line from your right foot to the crown of your head. Maybe you do come to be parallel with your mat. Try to drop your right hip in line with your left. And maybe steepling your fingers. Maybe think about it. There's a lot to think about. You can find the awkward interlace. A couple breaths here. One more inhale. And exhale. Come to standing. Plant your foot. Come back to your standing mountain pose. As you inhale, sweep your hands up to the sky. Maybe look up at your hands. And as you exhale, with a long spine, fold forward. Inhale, hands to legs, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale there. Exhale. Make your way to your downward facing dog, however you would like to get there. We'll meet there. And then drop to your knees from your down dog. Make your way to a child's pose. It's a traditional child's pose. You don't need to support your head unless you would like to. Start to lengthen out your breath slightly here. You can stay with your child's pose. We're beginning to draw your knees together. Sweep your hands behind you. And on an inhale, roll onto the crown of your head. Lifting your hips off your heels to find a rabbit pose. You can stay here or interlace your fingers and then lift them away from your low back, stretching across your collarbones. Stay there. A couple more inhales and exhales. And slowly, as you are ready, lower your way back to a child's pose. As you inhale, lift your way back up to hands and knees position. You're up to one hip and swing your legs around in front of you, finding a seated position. You may choose to sit on a blanket to support your hips and therefore support your spine a little more if you would like to. You keep your legs extended in front of you, flex your feet. As you inhale, reach your hands up to the sky. Find a long spine, and then as you exhale, fold forward, keeping your spine long. drop your hands to your legs or maybe to your feet. Your shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Find one more inhale for a little length. As you exhale, keep that length and maybe fold forward a little more deeply. You're seated forward fold. As you inhale, start to come back up to seated. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. And then drop your knee down to the earth, bringing the sole of your foot inside your left leg. As you inhale, reach your hands up to the sky once again. And as you exhale, fold forward, grab for your leg or your foot for forehead to knee pose. As you inhale, come back up to center. Extend your right leg long, hug your left knee in towards you, and drop it down towards the earth. Turn towards your extended right leg. Inhale, sweep your hands up to the sky. And exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, start to make your way back up. And from here, extend your legs in front of you and guide your way onto your back using your hands. And once you are there, hug your knees in towards your chest. And take a little rock from side to side a few times. Bring your knees back to center. And softly drop your knees to the right. If you want to, you can also move your hips just a little to the left. And create a little more space for a twist. Arms can come out to a T or to a goalpost position. You can feel free if you'd like to turn your gaze to the left and keep your eyes open. And once again, an opportunity to set your gaze. Strong but somewhat soft. As you inhale, bring your knees back to center. As you exhale, drop your knees to the opposite side. Maybe hips come to the right a little bit as you do so. Again, arms to a T or to goalpost. Maybe looking to the right. Feeling free to keep your eyes open and setting your gaze.
You need to come back to center. Plant your feet about hips width. Locate a block. And we'll come to a supported bridge pose. Lifting hips up high. And setting the block on a low or medium setting at the sacrum. And resting the sacrum against it. And a few breaths here in the supported bridge. I encourage you to close your eyes here and to draw your breath into, or imagine you're drawing your breath into the space above and between the eyebrows. Especially try and breathe in and out through your nose, if possible. Begin to press into your feet. Lift your hips off your block and then set them back down to the earth. Hug your knees in towards your chest. One more opportunity. Rock from side to side 3 times here. Bring your knees back to center. And take an inhale. Lift your forehead up toward your knees, drawing everything closely in toward you. And as you exhale, extend your legs long. Right heel to the right corner of your mat. Left heel to the left corner of your mat. Arms resting to the earth alongside your body. Allow your toes to flop open to the corners. Palms to flip up. Chin to tuck slightly. Lengthen the back of your neck. And close your eyes. Release the gaze and draw your gaze inward. We draw attention or create an image once again of a deep blue light just behind your eyelids. And if you want to take a second and dim your lights for the rest of our practice, you can feel free to do so. You won't need light for everything that we have left. And then as you are ready, release into this restful space, allowing your breath to rest and your eyes to softly close. And we'll be here a few more minutes, and then we'll do a little breath work, and we'll close out together.
start to bring your awareness back into your body's physical sensations, including your breath. As you awaken, begin to make small movements in your fingers and in your toes. Circle your hands and your feet. Stretch out your arms and your legs. Maybe taking a few inhales and exhales to stretch out the body in any way that feels good, like it would help you wake up. Eventually hug your knees in towards your chest. Rock off to one side, pausing for a moment, giving yourself some slowness and stillness. Eventually make your way up to a seated position. And for the last few minutes of practice, you may want to sit on a blanket or pillow or a yoga block and find a comfortable seated position. You can also feel free to sit against a wall if your back needs some support. We're going to go through a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana. Two things that this does: it gives you an opportunity to physically connect with your third eye, because we will be bringing the first two fingers of our hand to the third eye, but also as a purifying sensation, we'll be alternating which nostril we're breathing in and out of. And there's a lot of cool potential study with what the different sides of the breath represent, but all I'll ask you to focus on just the sensation of the breath flowing in and out. Imagine it's going one way and it's going the other way. If you are a fan of nasal rinses, it's almost like feeling of flushing everything out one direction and then the other. And you can imagine that happening to you energetically. It's kind of what we're going for. And imagine that your breath does go up, like into the sinuses, and purifying all the congested or potential congested areas that we can have in the face, maybe flowing into the third eye space. So I will cue you to start it out and give you a little bit of time to explore the breath on your own. And then I'll let you know as we're wrapping up. So to find the hand position, first two fingers can be either hand. Place them against your third eye. And then we'll use the thumb and the ring finger to close off nostrils. Do that however you would like to. I sneeze if I literally press my nostril in, so I just like press it against the opening, whatever feels comfortable for you. So as you get yourself set up, we'll take one deep inhale and exhale just normally. So inhale and exhale. And take another full and regular inhale. And close off your right nostril, exhale. And inhale. Close off your left nostril, exhale. Inhale. Close your right nostril, exhale. Inhale. Close your left nostril, exhale. Inhale. Close your right nostril, exhale. Inhale. Close your left nostril, exhale. Inhale. Close your right nostril, continue at your own pace. Just a few more rounds. And bring yourself to the point where you breathe in through your right nostril. And then allow your exhale to be through both. Meet up with hands at heart center. Feeling your natural breath, maybe noticing any subtle differences, both in the body and in the mind, perhaps in the heart and spirit. I'm going to bring the thumb knuckles to the third eye, which is one of my favorite ways to end a yoga class. So maybe that will have a little more meaning for you now as well. Know that you have the wisdom to face whatever is in front of you. The light in me recognizes, honors, and bows to the light in every single one of you. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Thank you everyone who's watching this. I hope that it brought you some really cool things, a sense of your own potential. And next class will be the last on this series, focusing on the crown chakra, which is a very spiritual chakra. Very cool. I hope to see you then, or hope you will see me then. And yeah, until then, take care.